Okay, so here we are once again with another Masters of the Universe Origins unboxing. You know, I love to open up Masters of the Universe Origins. This is the channel that Masters of the Universe Origins built. I always remind you, way back in the day when I first started doing action figure unboxings on this channel, the very first one was that very first Origins He-Man figure because I was so excited to have it. I just thought it'd be fun to do a video to open it up, and I've been opening up action figures ever since for quite a few years now. But anyway, so this is something we're used to seeing a lot of the times on this channel, but it's also something brand new to this channel, something we've never seen before, and not just a first for this channel, but a first for me personally, because I have never in my life had a Thundercats action figure. I know. It was one of the biggest action figure lines of the 80s. Certainly one of the most popular of the 80s toy slash cartoon properties that we saw a lot of the time. You know, it would definitely crack the top five, I would think. But I never really got too into the Thundercats toys for whatever reason. I know some neighbor kids had them, so I played with them a little bit. But I was always into Masters of the Universe. I was into GI Joe. I was into Star Wars. I was into superpowers. I was into Transformers. Even dabbled in Marvel superheroes Secret Wars a little bit. I love my superheroes. What can I say? But Thundercats, for whatever reason, the toys just didn't grab me, and I don't know why, because they seem like they're pretty cool toys. The only thing I can think of is maybe they were a little too big, and maybe if they were a little closer to the size of the He-Man figures, then I might have been more interested. You know, like I had both Transformers and GI Joe, and I used them kind of interchangeably. So I can imagine if Thundercats was the same size as He-Man, I might have done the same thing with that. Who knows? But uh, but I did like the Thundercats cartoon. I did watch that. Unfortunately, when I watched the Thundercats cartoon, I missed the first episode, so I did not know about Lion-O's backstory, and I didn't know that he was actually like a kid who had been like all the Thundercats were in suspended animation during interstellar travel, and for whatever reason, his pod malfunctioned. I forget why, and it made it so that even though he still had the mind of a child, he had a full-grown adult body. So I saw that like one of the later episodes of Thundercats, like maybe the second episode, and he just seemed kind of like an idiot to me. He just seemed dumb. Like I didn't get that he was. I don't even think I saw the whole episode. I think I saw like the last half of it even. But he went to fight Mumra, and instead of calling for help, he's like, "No, as Lord of the Thundercats, I must fight this beast alone." And then he got his ass handed to him like thoroughly. And I'm like, man, this guy's an idiot. I don't know what's up with him. He's pretty dumb. So now later on, I did see the first episode of Thundercats, and then it clicked for me, and I was like, oh, I get it now. He's not stupid. He's a kid, you know. So now it makes sense to me. Now I think this character is actually pretty cool. But never got into buying the action figures for whatever reason. But I did watch the cartoon. I thought the animation was really good, and a lot of good voice acting, and a lot of the character designs I liked. You know, it is kind of the same thing as Masters of the Universe. You had this kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi sort of world to it. A little bit Star Wars, a little bit Conan the Barbarian. I always kind of looked at Thundercats. I kind of suspected that the way that the whoever thought of Thundercats came up with the idea was they were like, hey, kids like this He-Man thing, kids like the musical Cats. Why don't we just kind of smash them together? You know, if you look at the way the Thundercats are designed and like their faces and everything, it looks a lot like the way that they did the makeup in that Cats musical, not the movie Cats, not that. Yeah, the actual Broadway musical. Earth Dude is here, and he says, "We Batman, yes we are." So anyway, here's what the back looks like. Got some pretty awesome artwork with Lion-O facing off against this Mumra Skeletor mashup. It doesn't say what his name is on the back here, but that is a figure that is available. I guess they only have the figures in the basic assortment listed. Skella Mumra, whatever he's called, is a deluxe figure. Don't worry, I will be buying that one. I might even buy two of them because I like the look of him as Skeletor. And I like the look of it. Obviously, I want like a classic Mumra figure, so I'll probably have to get both of them. But the three figures we see on the back are Lion-O, Chitara, and Battle Catman. Now, when I got this at Walmart the other day, all they had left was Lion-O. They had a few Lion-O figures left. And they did not have Chitara, and they did not have Battle Cat, which I figure is probably because Lion-O was probably the most heavily packed figure in the assortment, being how Lion-O is like the main character of Thundercats. You know, they probably look at these three characters and think, okay, if somebody's only going to buy one of these, they're probably going to get Lion-O before they get either Chitara or Battle Cat. Now, I think some people who are, just big Masters of the Universe fans, they might decide to get Battle Cat. I probably, honestly, if they hadn't had Battle Cat, I probably would have got Battle Cat first. No offense, Lion-O, you're pretty cool, but like I said, my loyalties will always lie with Masters of the Universe. But he is a cool looking figure. I can't wait to open this up. Now you can see that he's got like a new type of design, which has got a little bit more of a Masters of the Universe feel to it. But you can see he also comes with extra parts, so you can swap out the extra parts and make him into a more classic style 80s OG type of Lion-O. So let's go ahead and get to open this up. First, though, I'm going to read this little brief bio on the back. And it says, Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats, battles back the ancient forces of evil from Third Earth to Third Eternia. Third Eternia, wow. Now, there is a comic book in here, so maybe that'll explain what's up with the whole Third Eternia thing. But yeah, there's some He-Man elements, some Masters of the Universe elements to this new design of Lion-O. And we're going to talk about that when we open up the figure, which I'm going to do right now. So, but before we talk about the figure, we're going to talk about the comic book. All right, so not only did our Thundercats characters get new designs, but also He-Man himself has a new design. And I do have this figure pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store. I think the He-Man figure just looks awesome, so I had to have it. So, there we got Lion-O, Chitara. I believe that's Panthro over here wearing some funky gold mask. I don't know who this green helmeted dude is. I'm guessing it's Tigra, and Battle Cat in his Battle Cat man form. So let's go ahead and have a look at the interior of this comic book. And we start off with Skeletor ranting and raving as he is wont to do. And it says, across the barren desert of the sands of time, a storm strikes the surface with evil intent. There is only one with the power to conjure such unnatural disturbance, Skeletor. And Skeletor says, ancient spirits of evil, grant me your ever-living power to do your bidding. All it will cost him is something he has no use for anyway, his soul. Does a demon even really have a soul? Well, he is part human because of the Keldor part of him, but whatever. He's already sold his soul, basically. Rumble. Skeletor knows the tone speaks true. The Black Pyramid crosses time and space to heed Skeletor's summoning. Eternia trembles in fear as the ancient spirits of evil welcome their new herald. But unbeknownst to them, before leaving Third Earth for New Thundera, the Thundercats defeated Mumra and destroyed the Black Pyramid. Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats, swore to battle the ancient evil should it appear again. The Eye of Thundera awakens. That can only mean one thing. You can see the The eye on his sword is glowing. Of course, the Sword of Omens. I'm sure you remember if you watched the cartoon. It usually is just the size of like a dagger, but it grows in length when when he needs his full sized sword. His sword gets bigger when he gets excited, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, where was I? Uh, Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. The Eye of Thundera sees all, and he sees the ancient spirits of evil. And yeah, that I guess that is Tigra because you can see his green armor that matches with the green helmet he's wearing on the cover. And there's his helmet. It's a tossed to the side there, and that's Mum-Ra's headquarters. For those of you who don't recognize it, just as I feared, it's the Black Pyramid. Tigra has been taken captive. And then we have Panthro, who's my personal favorite Thundercat, and Chitara. And Panthro says, Lion-O, a planet just appeared from out of nowhere. And then Chitara says, gravitational readings are off the charts. We're being pulled in. If Tigra is here, then the Sword of Omens, the Tower of Omens is underprotected. My thoughts as well, Chitara. Bring us in, Panthro. Get ready for a rough landing. And then they crash the ship, and I think it's Panthro says, these energy readings are incredible. And then Chitara says, where are we? And then Lion-O says, wherever we are, Tigra needs help, and maybe a sign of hope. And then anybody who remembers the Thundercats cartoon, you're going to remember this. Thunder! Thunder! Thundercats! Ho! And he does the bat signal thing with the Sword of Omens. And Tigra sees it and he's, Lion-O! And then, hello, friends. Hold it right there. Not one more move. At least I hope you're friends, landing on our planet, wielding a weapon as powerful as the one you hold. I seek no quarrel. I seek only our friend. Then perhaps you will find him, Lord of the Thundercats. Welcome to Third Eternia. You're a Thundercat? There is only one who could wield the Sword of Omens. So this isn't quite our Eternia, is it? Because Battle Cat is already in this anthropomorphic form and is actually a Thundercat. So that's kind of interesting. Combining with their efforts to comb the desert, our heroes find Skeletor's lair, the Black Pyramid. That's where Tigra is being held. Then we will lead the way, but be warned, Skeletor is not to be trifled with. And then Skeletor says, once I have combined the power sword with the Sword of Omens, I will have in my hands the ultimate weapon. No one will ever be able to defeat me. Not even He-Man. And then Tigra says, famous last words, you bag of bones. Lion-O will stop you. And Skeletor says, I hope he does. I have a surprise for him. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Skelra, the ever-living. And that apparently is the end. So I suppose we will have the continuation in the comic that comes with the second wave of figures. Earth Dude says, best crossover ever. Thunder Battle Cat, that's a cool concept. Yeah, it's a really cool figure. Like, I'll go ahead and show you again. There is the figure on the back. He looks really awesome. And like I said, if that one had a bit of Walmart, sorry, Lion-O, I would have left you behind. I would have got Battle Cat. But I'm sure I'll be able to get Battle Cat soon, so I'm not too worried about it. So Lion-O comes with a ton of accessories because, like I say, this is supposed to transform from the He-Man crossover Lion-O into the basic Lion-O. So he has an extra hair piece that is the same as we remember Lion-O's hair as being in the classic animation, and of course, they do show that classic version of Lion-O on the back as well. And then the Sword of Omens. Now, apparently it's just got the extended Sword of Omens and not the shorter version as well. But hey, with all the accessories in this thing, I cannot complain that they skimped on that. And this is a really cool sword. You can see it looks just like the sword on the cartoon. It's even got the if I can line it up properly with my own eyes, tilt my head the right way. Yeah. Give me sight beyond sight. Very cool. And you can see he's got the closed eye on one side and the Thundercats emblem on the other side. Very awesome. And then he's got some extra shins. Earthsuit says Dutch boy hair in red. Yeah, something like that. It's like a big kind of almost pompadour lion's vein kind of thing. And then he's got an extra hand. So you can swap that out with the I believe they call that a shield that's on his hand there. It's more like a gauntlet, but I think that they call it a shield. And then there's a rubber tab around one arm, and that seems like all the rubber tabs that's around this guy. So let's go ahead and pull him off. Now I do wish. Oh no, wait! He's got one apparently around his elbow that I didn't see. I can't get that one. I do wish that they put some feet on those shin pieces, just because the feet aren't the easiest parts to swap out unless you actually like heat them up with a hairdryer or something. But maybe they've adapted these so they're a little easier since it is made to be swappable. We'll try it out. Let's see how it does. That's one last rubber tab. It's just, oh, you're just wanting to be a pain, aren't you? Oh, I hate these things. And one last accessory is he has the classic style Lion-O belt. So let's go ahead and set that aside. You see there's a little peg on it. So I think I know what that peg is for, but we'll find out. It does have where it says you can sheath the Sword of Omens on the back, but it doesn't say anything about the other play features. You would think it would advertise some of the other ideas, like that you can turn him into the classic version of Lion-O, or some of these other things. I'm pretty sure what's gonna yeah, I figured it out. So check this out. So he's got that gauntlet I was talking about. That's like a separate hand piece. We can swap that out. And when he's not using the gauntlet, got a little peg there, and it should plug right in there so he can hang it on his belt like so. So that's pretty cool. So it does not look like the articulation is going to be as good when you have this thing on there, because it is just a peg that just pegs in. It doesn't have all the full articulation that Masters of the Universe figure usually has. So, and he's only got one bracer. I think this is the same bracer that Raphael had, but now it's molded in gold plastic instead of red. And yeah, the feet do actually pop out pretty easily, so that's good. And then the shins pop off pretty easily. But still, I think it would have been better if they'd just gone ahead and put some feet on there. I don't think it would have cost that much. So like I can let not having the shorter sword slide, but I do really wish that they'd put extra feet on here. So let's go ahead and put the new shin pieces on there. And that'll look a little bit more like our classic Lion-O. We're gonna put him into his classic Lion-O form, but I haven't really decided how I'm going to display this guy yet. Because honestly, I like him being a little more barbarian-like. I like him having a loincloth and furry boots. I think that's pretty cool. So I might actually just leave him that way. But I do want to see what he looks like in his classic '80s form, because I think that's a big part of the appeal of this figure, to be honest. So pop those feet back on. And you see how this would have been just so much easier if it just already had an extra set of feet on there. I'm just saying. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you can see he's got some extra armor, like a He-Man type breastplate, small breastplate held on to the chest with some straps. Earthsuit asks, so you can mix and match the parts like Origins Master Universe? Oh yeah. This is I believe it's the same body type that they use on the I have a web store body over here, so I can compare the parts, but I'm pretty sure they're the same parts as well, no, I don't think they actually are the same parts, because his thighs are not quite as muscular as I thought it was going to be the cartoon collection body again. But no, this is a completely original body. That's something else. The forearms are different, the upper arms are different, the torso is different. I can tell just by looking at the abs. The sculpt is very similar, which is why I thought it was the same. But when I look at them side by side, it is not the same. These are leaner legs, and the arms are slightly leaner, but not quite as lean as the legs. So Lino been skipping leg day. I'm just saying. So we'll go ahead and put the bare hand on there so we can see what it's interesting to me. I don't think he's wearing gloves. I think that's just he's got a different color fur on his forearms than the rest of his arms, but it looks kind of like he's wearing gloves. But yeah, he's got this He-Man type battle harness, and it does have the same kind of sheath in the back as the regular Masters of the Universe Origins figure, so you can put the Sword of Omens in there. And you see he's got this one piece of armor, this pauldron, and that is designed to look very much like the Eternia Tower in the old Eternia playset, and even that sort of blue coloring is reminiscent of that. Earth Dude says just has a web store stuck in the couch cushion. Well, yeah, I had this because this is one of the extra web stores that I bought when my nearby Walmart had them on clearance, and I was going to use him for a custom, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's so he's basically like I took all the armor off of him because I put that armor onto the regular Origins web store because I was able to wind his the grappling hook reasons basically. So yeah, we can take this hand off since we're going to transform him into his classic 80s look. Take off the bracer and then put the hand back on. So that gets us a little bit closer to how he looked on the original show. Now, looks like this arm piece just kind of slides up his arm. So we're going to take that off, and that is really cool looking. I do really like that. And it doesn't look like there's a strap or a buckle. Well, there is a strap. It doesn't look like there's like a buckle or a button or anything like that. Earth Dude says, I'm hunting him in Mega Construct size. Well, I wish you luck with that. I haven't seen any Mega Constructs He-Man figures in a while, but I did really enjoy those. I had most of them. I'm gonna pop his hair off, and man, he's got like no ears. Of course, we can see like his ears would be completely covered by his hair anyway. He's got little sideburns on there and everything. So let's go ahead and pop the head off. Take the Sword of Omens out of its sheath, and we can remove this armor, of course. Let's go ahead and take him apart at the middle too. We're gonna have to do that eventually anyway. Now you see he's got the kind of classic, I don't know if you call it a vest or a wife beater or whatever you call it. But he's got that on him, and this is actually removable as well. So it's got little tabs on the side, and you can take that off. So you can actually have yourself a shirtless Lion-O if that's your preference. So almost looks like how he looked in the first episode where the Thundercats were naked for a little bit. And then of course we can take the loincloth off. And this is a new pelvis piece too. They probably could have just reused the smooth trunks that they had from the wrestling figures, but you can see there's like a little bit of abs on there. So this is a new piece that I haven't seen before. So we'll take the classic Thundercats belt, the classic animated show, put that on there. Put them back together at the midsection. Let's go ahead and pop his head off because that'll be easier to get his vest back on. There we go. So he's got these tabs on the side, so these seem like they're a little tricky to get to get in between this kind of square peg and the hole. It's one of those where it's like it's got like kind of a lip to it. So I gotta kind of try to press it in with my thumbnail, I think. Maybe pull back on the tab a little bit. We can get him put back together. There we go. So just fair warning, if you do take off the vest, it's not that easy to get back on. I was able to get it back on, but a small child might have a hard time with it. So if your kid does it, you might have to put it back on for them. So let's put that Lion-O head back on there, and then we can go ahead and take our gauntlet, stick that on the figure, and you can see like that kind of it kind of bumps into his thigh in like an awkward way, and it's probably not going to stay on there very well if you move it like the leg in the wrong direction while he's wearing it. And then last but not least, let's go ahead and put the Sword of Omens back into his hand. I'm going to turn it with the Thundercat emblem facing outwards. And there we go. There's Lion-O in his fully classic animated series form. This is the one we grew up with back in the 80s, back when we didn't have electricity yet. We had to watch TV by candlelight. But back when we were watching the original Thundercats cartoon, this was Lion-O as we saw him there. But I do really like the Masters of the Universe version of Lion-O. I think that's a really cool look. And you could even mix and match the pieces if you wanted to, and like have various combinations of it. Like you can, if you like this kind of headband thing that he's wearing. Yeah, see the gauntlet fell off. You could put that on there with the rest of the classic look, or you could give him back those furry boots if you wanted to. Whatever you wanted to do, there's all kinds of options as far as swapping these parts around. Now let's go ahead and have a look at him next to a typical Origins figure, and you can see that he does stand slightly taller than those. Not as tall as I thought they were going to be. Really, I thought these were going to actually be much taller than what they wound up being. But yeah, that's a regular Origins figure, so they're still pretty much in scale. So that's good. And again, next to the cartoon collection body, I think that the cartoon collection body, those seem to be the tallest. So I don't know yet how easy it's going to be to swap out the boots on these guys, because like I said, the legs are a bit thicker on the Origins figures, the regular Origins figures, than they are on these Thundercats figures. And I don't know if He-Man is going to be the same way. I would hope He-Man would be a little bulkier. They should probably just use the cartoon collection body for He-Man, I think. But like the Thundercats weren't really drawn to be as bulky as the He-Man characters anyway. Like it makes sense that Lion-O would be a little more lithe and sinewy, and not quite as bulky as He-Man. I think that does actually make a lot of sense. Bobby Wald asks, I wonder why they don't make Snarf into Battle Cat. Well, who knows? I mean, they might decide to do that. So I just haven't seen it yet. It's Battle Snarf. So if you want to, you can put his hair a little bit further back on his head, and it's like it's him a few years later when yeah. Earth Dude says Zodak is more chiseled. Well, yeah, Zodak's got that 1980s sculpting to him. Where did I put him? I thought I would have put him back in his throne. I'm sure you guys have seen the Zodak throne that I 3D printed for him. I made it with this kind of gold filament because I thought it matched up with how he looked on the how his throne looked in the comic book. But yeah, he's got like the veins and everything like that. These are, even though they're not the cartoon collection bodies, they are kind of a little more simplified in terms of the sculpt, like how the cartoon collection figures. Like I said, when I first saw photos of these, I just thought it was the cartoon collection body, because you can see the way the musculature on the thigh fits together. It's the same way. So obviously sculpted by the same guy. So he probably just has the same solution to a lot of problems. But all these parts are new. All these parts on Lion-O are new, and they're unique to this figure, at least so far. I do know that Battle Cat is on a more muscular buck. So whenever I get that one, we'll have a look at that and see how he looks next to Lion-O, and next to the cartoon collection body, and next to probably a regular He-Man. I'll probably make sure I grab a regular He-Man. Oh, I do have a regular He-Man because I have this Thunder Punch He-Man that I made. So he's got mostly the same anatomy. He's just got like that was another web store. I used another web store armor for this He-Man, but because I was getting a bunch of those when they were on clearance. But yeah, you can see he's a little taller than this version of He-Man, but He-Man is definitely much bulkier. Like you can see those thighs are a lot thicker, the arms are a lot thicker, the chest is a lot thicker. So even though these are in scale with Masters of the Universe, they're not quite as bulky as your typical Motu character. And like I said, I don't feel like they should be. I think they made a good decision by not uh, giving these characters that bulk. I mean, they could have very easily just reused the typical He-Man body, and I don't think anybody would have complained. But I appreciate that they put the extra effort into giving the Thundercats their own sort of buck. But we'll see. Like even like maybe Panthro might be on the old He-Man body or something. I mean, we'll just see how it works out. We'll see how it works out once we get some more figures. So but I know the next wave is going to have Panthro, and like I said, Panthro is my favorite of the Thundercats, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But they didn't have any of these at Walmart, unfortunately, except for Lion-O and Skelra, I guess is what he's called. So, and now to sate my own curiosity, I'm going to see how well that Lion-O's loincloth fits on a regular Masters of the Universe Origins body, because I know that's a part that I was looking at as being like, hey, I can get a lot of use out of that for customs. And look, he looks pretty good with that, doesn't he? Yeah. So go ahead and get that back off of him now, because I'm probably going to put Lion-O back together into his Masters of the Universe form so that I can take the thumbnail with that picture. So this is a really cool figure. Like I don't care if you're a Thundercats fan or a Masters of the Universe fan or you're a fan of both. You're gonna love this figure. Like I honestly kind of feel like, especially when he's got the Masters of the Universe parts on him, then he becomes like a figure that fits in very well with the Motu characters. So you even if you'd never even heard of Thundercats and you were just a He-Man fan, you might want to get these just because they're pretty cool as Masters of the Universe characters. They work really well that way. And of course, if you're a fan of the classic Thundercats, you're going to want to have these figures because, like, not only do they have these newer redesigns to fit in with Third Eternia, but they also have the classic look. So you can go back to the Lion-O that you remember from when you were a kid. Go back and forth between the two of them. And like I said, you can even mix and match the parts so that I forgot to put a loincloth back on. You can even mix and match the parts so that you can come up with your own versions of what these characters are supposed to look like. Bobby Wald asked, "Who's Panthro going to be? Man of Arms? Yeah. Actually, yeah, he's going to be crossed with Man at Arms. So they're going to do that. So." So yes, indeed, that's exactly what they're doing. So, but yeah, I want to get him back into his full Eternia form, so I can go ahead and take that thumbnail picture once I'm done shooting this video. But yeah, he's really awesome. I'm really glad I picked this guy up because he's definitely worth picking up. And like I said, even if you're not really a Thundercats fan, he's going to work pretty well as just a Masters of the Universe character. Like he works out pretty awesome for that. And even if you're not a Masters of the Universe fan and you just like Thundercats, it's a classic Lion-O figure, so it's going to work out perfectly for your collection. So yeah, highly recommend this. And of course, like I said, they combine Skeletor with Mumra, and Chitara. She's got her own Eternian thing. She doesn't really look like Teela or like any other He-Man character that I can tell, but she does kind of have like an Eternian look to her. Same with Tigra. He looks like he's just kind of got his own sort of thing going on. But yeah, the Panthro. Let me see if they got a good picture of him in the comic here, so I can, because I know he's in the comic, but I don't know if there was a really good picture. You see, there's a word balloon right in the way, but he does have that sort of that sort of face guard thing, like like Man-at-Arms has on his armor. And he's got some kind of weird mask. I don't get the mask because that's not very Man-at-Arms like at all. But this comic kind of, the artwork's good, but it kind of has the same problem as the Ninja Turtles comics, where it seems like it's drawn by a guy who's used to drawing on like a larger comic book page. So a lot of these characters wind up being really tiny. So Bobby Wald says, Master of the Universe is crossing over with everything. I just saw they're crossing over with Transformers the other day. Yeah, and remember, Mattel is getting the rights to DC characters back. So you know what that means. You know they're gonna do DC X Masters of the Universe. They're totally gonna do that. And of course, they've actually done that in the comics, like way back in the 80s, the very first He-Man comic ever, which my good friend Battle Ram blog on Facebook, he posted actually about that earlier today. With the very first He-Man comic book was actually a team up with Superman in DC Comics Presents. So yeah, pretty rad. I do wish they put some ears on him. I know they're not going to be visible, but he just looks so weird without the ears. He looks like he's from Alien Nation or something. So I'm going to put the headband version back on, because like I said, I want to have him in the Masters of the Universe form when I take the thumbnail. Man, he's cool looking. It kind of reminds me of like a Jack Kirby character, like Light Ray or something like that. So like a New Gods kind of feel. Oh, take care of yourself there, dude. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I'm really psyched about the rest of this line. Like I said, I already had the He-Man figure pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store because I just thought the He-Man figure was just so cool as a He-Man figure, not even dealing with the whole Thundercats thing. But I already had like a lot of stuff on pre-order when these went on you can tell by the all the stuff on pre-order that I've opened up recently. But I kind of felt like I've got enough stuff on pre-order, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be what takes the retail space of Turtles of Grayskull once those are cleared out. So I don't think I'm going to miss out if I don't pre-order these. I think I'll be able to get them at retail pretty easily, knock on wood. And thankfully, at least Lion-O I was able to find at retail pretty easily. But hopefully we'll see the rest of them, because man, there's some awesome figures in this wave, and I do want to get all of them. I want to make sure I get Mumra and Chitara and Battle Cat. They all look great. So anyway, that's it for Lion-O. I hope you enjoyed this episode, particularly long one since I read a comic book. Next episode, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Haven't decided yet. But I do have still a bunch of DC Universe Classics to open up. I've got some G.I. Joe coming up because I've got some of the Super 7 O-Ring figures. I haven't opened any of those in a while. I opened up Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander a while back, and I loved those figures, but hadn't gotten around to getting any new ones until recently when I finally got Duke. So we're going to go ahead and open up Duke, and hopefully that should turn out to be pretty cool. And hopefully we'll be getting more of those in the future, because I'm really digging that line. It's got some issues to it, and I'm going to get into that probably when I talk about Duke a little bit. But I don't think it's anything they would have a hard time correcting in the future. But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Lion-O. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Lion-O, both the character in general and this figure specifically. And let me know what are some combinations that you've thought of for these parts, and how you're probably going to display this figure, or maybe you're even going to buy multiple figures and display them in different ways. I mean, that's probably a cool thing to do. I might consider doing that myself. I could have one that I leave in this He-Man form and one that I leave in the classic form. And I'm going to buy some of these for some extra custom parts anyway, so I might as well keep one Lion-O together in the classic form and keep this one together in the Motu form, and it'll look pretty cool. But yeah, do make sure you like and subscribe, because YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe. Whenever I say like and subscribe, the algorithm picks it up and they send it up more people, and more people see the video, And then more people hear me ask to like and subscribe. And if more people like and subscribe, then that happens even more often, and it becomes a cycle. And it's like a snowball that rolls downhill and gets bigger as it rolls and picks up more snow. And that's kind of what we want to do here, right? But yeah, Lion-O is awesome. Definitely pick him out. I'm really excited about this line, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more of these figures very soon. I know they've got, even though I went up to the Walmart today because I wanted to do some grocery shopping, and they were by this point completely sold out of the few Lion-O figures they had left, and they still have a ton of Skeletor slash Mumra because he's a little more expensive. So I figure I'll probably be good waiting until my next paycheck to pick him up. I think that'll probably be safe. I think I'll be okay as far as that goes. But yeah, next episode I'll be back with something else. I haven't figured out what yet, but we'll see you next time. Bye.